Today to talk about Remedyforce and how Remedyforce can help organizations modernize IT service management. We're so fortunate today to be joined by a number of our customers and the Director of Product Management for Remedyforce. So we're going to start the session by giving you a quick overview of Remedyforce. Some of you, I see some familiar faces in the audience. So some of you have some familiarity, and some of you, this may be a completely new concept. So we want to level set for everybody, and then we're going to spend the majority of the session today talking with our friends from Dex Media and Mitchell International, two fantastic customers who are going to share a little bit about their experience, and then we'll have Chad chime in along the way about how we develop this product with our customers and the market in mind. So my name is Erin Avery, and at BMC Software, I look after the solutions marketing for Remedyforce. So I have one of the, I think, best jobs in the industry because my job is to tell the story of Remedyforce and work very closely with our customers to highlight their success. And so this is probably one of the favorite parts of my job, getting to work with these folks. So today we're going to talk about, like I said, how Remedyforce, IT service management built from the cloud up on the Salesforce platform, can help you modernize and streamline your approach to service management operations. But of course, we have to talk about our safe harbor statement. We need to make the lawyers happy first. So please do not make any purchasing decisions based on any forward-looking comments that we offer today. We'd love to talk to you about the product, the way that the product is today, the future of the product, but please don't make any buying decisions based on the future of the product. We're selling what we got today. Okay, there should be a lawyer somewhere that's very happy that just their little heart went pitter-patter because I did that. So I think it's important to take a step back when we think about modern service management. Why do we want to do this? And I submit to you that when executed flawlessly, service management actually has an extraordinary opportunity to really transform the modern business. When we think about service management, we don't just think about the tools and technology. We shouldn't just think about the tools and technology and the processes and the people. We need to take a step back and think about the business. What are the services that we're providing? What does that mean to the business? And I submit to you that if you get service management right, you can connect and engage your employees in a whole new way. And if your employees are connected and engaged with each other and with new levels of information, that means their work is going to be more aligned and more productive. And if their work is more aligned and more productive, that means that they're going to be delivering service or product or whatever it is, whatever industry you're in, to your customers, and your customers are going to be delighted. And let's face it, happy customers want to do business with you for a long time. They want to bring their money, their funds that they have to spend. They want to continue giving that to you because they're getting some sort of value. So we truly believe in the Remedyforce business that aligned, engaged employees that are doing work that matters to the business is going to drive customer success. So this concept of IT service management actually has a really unique opportunity to really drive business success. But unfortunately, that utopia that I just talked about can be a bit challenging to achieve, and there's a lot of reasons that that's challenging to achieve. I really want to walk away from the podium, but I'm stuck to this microphone. So you may be thinking about your organization and thinking, yeah, that's great, aligned work, all happy, connected, visible information, all of these things. But you know what? I've got an old tool that's customized to the hilt. I'm stuck. I can't get off of this version. You know, I've got data that lives in all sorts of parts of my organization. We've got multiple tools that don't talk to each other. This is a reality for a lot of customers that we work with. So 4 years ago, Salesforce and BMC had a unique idea. Obviously, the Salesforce cloud is the #1 enterprise cloud in the world. We're all here. We must believe some of that Kool-Aid. And BMC has a great heritage of building service management solutions that can help organizations standardize, streamline, and execute flawlessly to deliver agile service management. So the result of that partnership was Remedyforce. We took the expertise that Salesforce provides in the cloud offering, fast time to value, seamless upgrades, and took the expertise that BMC provides from a service management perspective, married that together, and I'm very excited to talk to you today, 4 years later, about Remedyforce. So what is Remedyforce? It's modern IT service management built from the cloud up. We provide you that core service management functionality that your organization needs to run its operations flawlessly. We give you those itil capabilities because let's face it, somebody went out and kicked the tires and defined those processes because they're very, great best practice guides, but you need to adopt those in a way that works for your business. So we provide you this core capabilities, but we do it with a modern, social, mobile, collaborative punch. I mean, we're at Salesforce, there's DJs playing. That isn't the usual, IT conference persona. So we're taking that very modern perspective and we're bringing it to IT service management. Like I said, we built this solution from the cloud up. We didn't worry about the way that IT service management had been delivered before. We said we're going to do this in a new, modern, fresh way. And we recognize that your information lives in technology and places all across your organization. So we said, you know what, we're going to connect seamlessly so that information flows and is visible. It's pulling and pushing to the places in an organization that it's needed most. So you may say, well, what is this Remedyforce? What are the things that we offer? Well, on the top line, you'll see some of those more modern capabilities that our customers, not users, I don't like to call employees and users because there's two industries that call people users. IT and the drug industry. So we're not going to refer to our customers as users, we're going to call them customers. But those modern technologies that our customers like to use, the self-service, we're going to embrace that real or perceived tech savviness, but then we're going to provide that core functionality that you see in the middle that your service management organization needs to run their business. And then finally, we're going to connect you to these different sources of information across your organization. So with that level set in mind, what I'd like to do now is introduce you to the four people sitting up on the panel. We've got Chad Hafsterson on the far left, who is the Director of Product Management for Remedyforce. He's been with us since the beginning, so he started from the cloud up. We've got Mike Levier from Dex Media, who's a Remedyforce administrator. Lisa Cross, who also is with Dex Media and is the Manager of IT Business Support Services. And then Pauline Mulvey, the VP of Enterprise Technology at Mitchell International. So that's our panel today. So let's start with Pauline. You happen to be closest to me, so you get to be on the hot seat first. Tell us a little bit about the Salesforce journey at Mitchell International and how Remedyforce is kind of helping you guys to achieve your strategic goal. I know simplification is really important at Mitchell, so maybe you can give everybody a little background.
We started on the Sales Cloud back in 2005, so we've been with Salesforce for a very long time. And then 2009, we brought in the Service Cloud. We got kind of all of our customer service and support people and our sales people on that core CRM. Then we added Chatter to the whole company in 2011 for that social to bring everybody together and simplify communications. We brought in Work.com in 2012. And then January of this year, we rolled out Remedyforce. And when we were looking for a tool that could consist on that platform that we already had in-house, I didn't have to roll out any additional applications to people. It just showed up as another tab. So it was really nice and simple to have that platform already in place and just be able to add on our new ITSM solution.
And you guys had a situation that's probably not dissimilar from a few folks in the room, if I recall. You had a number of applications and platforms, and on your simplification journey, you really focused on getting it down to a few core technologies.
About 5 years ago, when we really set up our structure for a CTO office across our organization, we've grown through acquisition, so we had a lot of very siloed groups of folks doing a wide variety of things with a wide variety of tools, and to really help leverage that ROI and start to get the cost effectiveness of working as an enterprise, we started a project called 40 to 4 because we figured we had about 40 independent platforms or tools that folks were using, and we really wanted to get that down to about 4 core platforms so that, again, simplified it for the business, consistent across the enterprise, and definitely simplified the workflow for everybody.
So if there's anybody out there that feels like they live in a spaghetti soup world and there's no hope, this is the poster trial. They did it. I know it wasn't easy and it took a while, but you can simplify, streamline, and seamlessly connect using a couple of core technologies. And that's the beauty of Remedyforce as you standardized on that platform. Lisa, not dissimilar from Mitchell International, you guys have had, at Dex Media, you guys have had a transformation journey with Salesforce as well. I happen to know a little bit about that with you guys. Can you share a little bit about your Salesforce journey and how Remedyforce has supported some of the big changes that your business has gone through over the last couple of years?
Absolutely. We implemented Salesforce over 5 years ago, the CRM piece of it. Followed over 2 years ago with Remedyforce, and then recently within the last year implemented Service Cloud on top to really integrate between the orgs. So really providing a lot of integration across there. But we've been through a number of mergers, but more recently over the last year and a half, we had two companies that really had a lot of different tools, systems, and we were able to standardize across the organization on both sides with Remedyforce, really replacing about 5 other service management tools. So it's really offered significant flexibility for us, both from a technical standpoint as well as from the customer standpoint. Aaron had mentioned earlier, mobile was big, self-service, really enabling your customer base in really a new fashion to request service from your IT organization. I mean, that's really been a game changer for us, as well as really being able to implement the itil solution across the company, not just within the IT organization, but really we've got every department in the company using it.
And I think for both Mitchell and for Dex, there's a lot of cultural change. I mean, we're talking about technology, but you can't ignore the people that will be leveraging this technology. You guys both had some pretty big cultural changes that went along with this. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And I think had this not been such a strong tool with flexible capabilities, it would have been far more difficult to eliminate, again, a lot of the redundancy across the organization, the company, with multiple tools.
Okay. Chad.
Yes.
Must feel pretty good to hear your customers talking about the success that they're achieving with Remedyforce. So from your perspective, tell us about your vision for Remedyforce. Does it pretty well align with what they're talking about?
It aligns well, and interestingly, we're seeing a shift in IT to some degree. I think you're probably all seeing the same things with bring your own device, with end users that range from experts on their computing devices, whether they're tablets, phones, etc., to still having novices out there. And we're seeing different levels. So one of the things we're really focused on is making it very easy for your customers to communicate with you, whether that's through mobile, that's through web, that's through email, whatever channel they want to use. We want to make it easy for those end users, because the end game is getting the users fixed and back up and running as quickly as possible as we converge further and further towards the instant gratification world that people are getting used to on their iPhones or on their Android devices or whatever else. We're not going to have a chance to get it wrong. We need to have answers out there for customers so they can get it right away, or they're going to go figure out some other way to do it, and that makes IT's job a lot harder because they're going to have some unsupported device, some unsupported application out there. So we're really focusing on increasing those channels of communication, making it easier for the customer to communicate in the way that they're comfortable with, again, mobile, social media, web, email, whatever, while also starting to look forward at, how else are customers getting their problems solved. They're going out to Twitter, they're going out to Google, they're going to forums, and there's crowdsourcing that's happening to answer questions. We're seeing customers start to use Chatter as we heard up here, where customers are helping other customers. So you're getting to the point where your IT's not getting involved at all, and expert users are helping other novice users get through challenges. So we're looking at ways to evolve the service desk to take advantage of that, while also keeping track of what's going on so you can capture that knowledge and be able to reuse it for other users in the system. And then, of course, there's still the core components of IT service management, incident problem change, everything we showed on the screen down here below. So we're continuing to add breadth and depth to the Remedyforce application to cover all of those process areas, give you the reporting and the metrics and the process automation that you need to be able to capture and run all those processes, regardless of whether you're moving to the digital workplace tomorrow or 5 years from now. We want to be able to cover both of those. And then finally, all of this is built on the foundation of easy upgrades, easy implementations. I should say relatively, because of course, it is easy, but when you compare it to other things, upgrades and other things, there's always a little bit of a stigma associated with that. But we really focus, as we're building new capabilities into the product, as we're going through our testing for releases, of making sure that it really is as seamless as possible for customers. And we've seen that through thousands and thousands of upgrades that we performed since we released this product 4 years ago.
Great, thank you. So Mike, tell me a little bit about some of the changes that you've seen since you've deployed Remedyforce at Dex Media. For example, what are you guys doing that you couldn't do before?
Right. As Lisa mentioned, with the merger of the two companies, both companies using a different method to resolve issues and tickets and track it, we had the opportunity to take both the best of both worlds and put it into Remedyforce. There was one company using a lot of self-service, which we didn't at one point, so Remedyforce was there. We had that self-service, so we managed to kind of put that into production as well. Like I said, we had the ability to take the best of both worlds from both companies. Remedyforce was there with the itil standards. Having everybody in a company follow one standard was great. Putting everybody on the same plane, working together towards a common goal for the company. So I think that was a big change for us.
Yeah. Who in the audience is either interested in implementing itil best practices or is on that journey, or maybe already has? Show of hands. Okay, great. So can you guys, I know itil was something that y'all wanted to pursue at Dex Media as well. Can you talk a little bit about the itil best practices that you've pursued and how that's helped you guys?
I think, was it ISO 20?
We started with, actually ISO 9000, 9001 14 years ago, and then closer to the 2005 timeframe implemented ISO 20000, which is the IT service management standard based on itil. So really with Remedyforce, that truly helped us leverage itil, not only across the IT organization, because we were able to certainly leverage that with ISO, but really across the company, because the business had not been as involved in that process. So it gave us that opportunity to really leverage the training and the education across the company to again gain that value from the itil processes. And certainly as we look at, we had manufactured through our prior solution, problem management and configuration management, where within Remedyforce, we now truly have an integrated CMDB that we didn't have before. And for those that are certainly have itil in within their companies, that's huge. I mean, if you're trying to follow that, the configuration management database is really the heart of everything. So that was significant with Remedyforce.
So Chad talked a little bit about the core capabilities, but then also some of the social and mobile more modern technologies. So Pauline, I know at Mitchell you guys are really on a mission to simplify in an effort to provide better service to your customers. Tell us a little bit about how you're leveraging self-service and mobility and the My Service portal. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So one of the things that we did when we rolled out was create a portal, and my goal was really for anything you need in the enterprise, have a single point people go to instead of if you want to work with legal, you got to go find their system. There's a URL somewhere on SharePoint. If you want to go get something from marketing, you got to contact them directly. Other people did stuff through email, and things would get lost, or nobody would ever take action on it. So we initially definitely focused on our IT organization and the help desk and those types of things, and then we expanded it out to our servers and network folks. So for our dev teams, when they needed a test environment set up, all of those types of things, put it in this common portal. And then we had people come and knock on our door. Facilities said, hey, can we jump on the portal? Because we would like to be able to track all these requests that we get. And right now everything's through email. It's just kind of, we can't see the volume and all those types of things. So we have HR, the facilities folks, well, it's the marketing folks, the legal folks. Everybody's kind of jumped on board and said, yeah, we want to get on the platform as well so that we can have that single door in, as well as we then have that visibility to look at all the metrics that we want to be able to see, make sure things are not getting lost. We know who's working on things. So being able to track all that information through a single tool has made a huge difference.
So you didn't only get the IT service management house in order, you kind of, by virtue of what you were doing, became a pretty popular entity in your organization to helping other parts of the organization get their businesses
Absolutely. I mean, and that's one of the things that I will say, we didn't realize when we were rolling it out, how many people in the organization, they start popping out of the woodwork. Well, can we have that too? Can we have that? Because we kept the portal really, really simple. One of the whole ideas was if we make it complex, and we had heard in talking to other people about implementing, they said keep it very simple. Qualcomm was one that said when they implemented, they tried to create service requests for everything they could think of, and they ended up with over 250, and now they were weeding it back. So what we did is start small and then build, and as we saw things that were common, then we would build the service requests specifically for those entities. So it's very manageable. It's not overwhelming when a person or a new person or somebody who doesn't request service that frequently comes to ask for something. It's very simple. It's not intimidating.
So it sounds like you started small, realistic, achievable goals, had success, that success bred more success, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, yeah, our whole implementation, we started in September of last year, and we went live January 6th of this year. We could have gone out earlier, except I didn't want to do it during the holidays.
Yeah, yeah, so you guys were about a 90-day-ish implementation. So we really focus at Remedyforce on fast. I mean, fast is of course relative, but to our peers in the industry, fast value realization. We have an organization of customer success managers that are very committed to a value realization early on, because we want you to achieve that success, and again, that success breeds more success within your organization. So I want to open this up to Lisa, Mike. This next question to Lisa, Mike, and Pauline. We've got Chad here with us today, and we consider at Remedyforce our model to be fairly unique in the industry, in the IT service management industry. Our approach to engaging with our customers through our unique customer success program, and then also our very customer-driven development. Chad and his team work very collaboratively, or we like to think, with our customers to really reflect not only what's going on in the market and our products, but also what our customers need. So Lisa, Mike, and Pauline, can you perhaps each take a minute to talk a little bit about your experience working with BMC, with your customer success manager, and then also with the folks on Chad's team. So Pauline, you want to start?
Sure. I'll say one of the main differences as we moved a lot of things to the cloud was, when you had premise-based stuff, a lot of times it was kind of, I mean, even on the IT side, you bring it in, you set it up, and then it's like, check, you're done. I'm going on to the next project. And so there was very little ongoing relationship, and it was okay because many times, again, we customized the heck out of it, so you're kind of stuck there anyway. With a SaaS vendor, you have to be a partner. I think so. When you're shopping around, you've got to have somebody, because they are continually changing their tool, and you want to make sure that it's aligned with what you're doing, as well as they're a really good partner. As we move things to the cloud, I won't mention any names, but I do have one vendor that won't be a vendor for very much longer because they're a lousy partner. And when they roll things out, they don't communicate ahead of time. One of the things I love about working with Jason, who's our account manager, as well as Chad, is they do roadmap sessions with us. Anytime we have a new venture that we're starting to, another piece of the puzzle, so to speak, that we're starting to roll out, we can get with them, talk about best practices, talk about some of our, weird things that we're doing right now, and they can recommend either stuff that's out of the box or how to tweak it a little bit to customize it. But the nice thing is there are ways to customize so that you don't back yourself into that hole, so that you're not stuck with whatever you've created for the next 20 years because you're afraid to touch it because it's going to break.
So it sounds like your experience has been that the team is very accessible to you.
Absolutely,
yeah. Okay, Lisa and Mike, you want to share any comments that you have about working with our team?
Sure. Go ahead.
I think we've had a very successful relationship since implementing Remedyforce, and certainly a similar model to what Pauline had described, that we have an on-premise solution, very limited involvement, difficulty upgrading, moving to Remedyforce. We've had a very supportive relationship, anywhere from customer success to product development and support across the board. Remedyforce is a very agile product, a lot of changes, and my guess would be that many, if not all of those changes, are the result of customer feedback. So we have a very open relationship and regular communication across not only customer success, but product development, and that's made a big difference in our implementation and really the use of the product within the company.
Yeah, and from my experience as an administrator of Remedy before, when Remedyforce came along, I had no knowledge of Salesforce. I had no knowledge of Remedyforce. So we needed their support. They were there. Their helpline, direct helpline to their help desk, helped us, our team, get through the bumps at first. We had an onboarding group that helped us out originally. Now we are very comfortable to say that we can develop things on our own at this point, and the support is still there. They're crew, the support crew is great. So we've had tremendous support from BMC.
And Mike, you've interacted with our online community quite a bit too. Can you talk a little bit about that experience interacting with some of the other customers and submitting ideas and things
Yeah,
like
I
that?
guess we've as a group we'll talk about possibly something we're thinking about to help enhancement of some sort. And I may have noticed something a few weeks before, a month before on the community website. Some other company has posted a suggestion like that too. And I said, hey, here's the answer. Here we are trying to pull our hair apart. I'll try to resolve the issue and get the answers right there on the community website. So that's been a real great help for us.
Good, glad to hear that. So Chad, we've talked a lot about your team's availability to our customers. Can you share a little bit about how you and your team work with customers to guide the roadmap and pursue that customer-driven value?
Sure, yeah, that's really our number one goal, is to understand from customers what they're seeing, where they're trying to go, so we can shape the roadmap using that feedback. Of course, we look at the market, we even listen to analysts a little bit to hear what they're telling us we told them. But we spend most of our time, as Mike was mentioning, we have a very active community site. In fact, out here we've got Kedar from Cloud Action, who's, I haven't checked the numbers lately, but he's one of the top 3 contributors from, not even a BMC employee. He's one of the top 3 contributors on the community site. We have a very active community where we monitor very closely what customers are asking about, what types of questions they're asking, where they're having challenges with the application. So that's one area of feedback. And then we also have a more formal ideas capability on communities as well, where customers can say, hey, here's an idea of something a problem I'm trying to solve. We'll go in and we'll ask questions about, well, what is it that you're really trying to do? How's your life going to be better after you're done with that? And then other customers can vote on that as well. So that drives a lot of that. In fact, in our upcoming release, our next release, I think we're knocking off 2 or 3 of the top voted ideas in that particular release, and it really got prioritized based on our customer base.
So effectively, we're crowdsourcing the next
Right.
capabilities from our customer base.
Exactly. And then from your point about our customer success managers, their whole job is to help customers evolve their use of Remedyforce, get more value out of the product. Part of that is pulling me and my team in to talk about where we're going with the product, understand what the customers are trying to do. So we do a lot of one-on-one interactions with customers as well to understand what, how things are going, what they like, what they don't like, and drive the roadmap based on that as well.
Okay. I've got one more topic to talk about, and then I want to offer some time to the audience if anybody has questions to ask of these folks, because they've got some fantastic experience. So Pauline, this one's for you. Who in the audience has a Devops group? Yeah, for some people it's been around for a while, for some folks it's more of a new phenomenon. So I think, Pauline, you have a really interesting story to share around that simplification and streamlining of processes, change management. And I think it's really cool how you're connecting, your customer support, your DevOps organizations to organizations who historically don't communicate. Yeah, they sit in separate areas of the lunchroom. They don't acknowledge each other by virtue of their jobs are just different. But I think as our digital businesses really evolve, you have these functions that are, quite frankly, not, they don't need to talk. They're dependent on each other to be successful. So can you tell us about the transformation that you guys have achieved at Mitchell with some of these different groups?
Yeah, so historically what DevOps had done was, the service centers all work in cases. And then if and when they needed to escalate something, it kind of got thrown over the wall. The cases sometimes went over to DevOps, but most of the time the service centers own them still because they have to talk to the customers, and sometimes when you threw them over to DevOps, you never got them back. So to be able to track the customer information, but it was kind of the black hole type of situation. Plus the DevOps team, in addition to those cases, was also getting incidents thrown from our prior ITSM from, monitoring things and that type of thing. So they had 2 different buckets they needed to look at, and then you had the black hole gap between the actual frontline folks on the service center and the backline folks who may be fixing bugs and things like that. What we've been able to do is take the Service Cloud and integrate it with the Remedyforce so that from a case, now the service folks can create an incident for the DevOps team, and they have complete visibility over to the DevOps. DevOps can work on the ticket. The frontline folks can see exactly what's going on, and vice versa. So the DevOps folks can see all the case notes from the service organization and what they did with the customer, what types of things, how to recreate the error and those types of things. So it has really created this much more, transparent organization and working between the two, as well as the DevOps group, they were the guys that, they had stuff that came in through email and all kinds of things. And when we were able to say, we're going to take all of your work and we're going to put it into incidents, like the first 2 weeks, they were kind of freaking out because their volume went through the roof. And we said, what's going on? What's driving this? Do we have some bad software that went out? And really what it was is because we had taken everything that used to be, some was in email, some was in cases, some was in incidents, and put it all into a single funnel, we could actually see the volume of things that were going over to that group. So they had a much better, and it's like, see, we knew we were doing a lot of work. This is why we never get anything done. But that visibility was really brought to light because now it's all in a single place.
And I know that one of the things you and I have talked about is just the visibility that Remedyforce has helped you achieve, not just understanding the true volume of work that y'all were handling, but then also being able to see larger problems because you're starting to see trends because it's all centralized.
Exactly, yeah. And some of our reporting, I know the guys in the NOC, once a month when they did all their reporting for end of month, it used to take between 2 and 4 days for them to pull all the various and assorted metrics from all over the place, and now they push a button. They love that.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much for sharing your stories and your experiences. This is a snapshot of what Mitchell and Dex have achieved. But what I want to do, we've got about just under 10 minutes left, and I want to open it up to the audience because I'm sure y'all have a few questions for these folks. So if you have any questions, please, now is the time to ask them. I don't know if we have an extra microphone or if we just need to use our outside voices. Okay, use your outside voice and I'll repeat the question. Sure.
So for Pauline, can you tell us a little bit about your data migration from your old ITSM solution to your new? How was that experience?
Sure. So the question is about our data migration from old to new. It was minimal, very minimal, because we said, why do we want all that old crap in our new tool? So with regard to even all the desktop CMDB, we just reran scans and loaded it clean. We also, I did not bring over any old incident information. We said we'll leave the old system up so you guys can do your old metrics, and we have a before and after. Of course, now that we've been on the tool for a couple, about 6 months, nobody even looks at the old one anymore. But we really minimized. The other thing we did was we really simplified, the categorization over the 10 years that we had the old product. The categorization was kind of ridiculous, and so we said, really, what do you want? So let's not bring it all over, let's build it clean. And we really actively engaged our help desk guys and our NOC manager to say, what do you guys need? What kind of reporting are you doing so that we can simplify this in the new tool? So we did not do a massive bring it all over.
And I could just comment, and Chad, maybe you have something to add on that. We see more and more of our customers doing that. It's a little difficult because you're kind of cutting the proverbial ties, but there is something quite liberating in doing that as well. Chad, have you seen that trend in some of our customers?
We see that in the large majority of our customers. It's cut over and start over. It's not. We don't want to re-implement the reason we're moving away from something else. So it's very often just moving forward. Sometimes you'll take some open tickets and push those forward, but for the most part, history is left as history, and then you can go back and look at later if you want to.
If it helps, we had a similar
Did you guys
strategy.
do the same thing? Talk a little bit about that.
We actually we brought over, really not even, the initiative was not to bring over all of the open tickets. There were a few groups that really needed some tickets moved over, so was it 200 maybe out of many, but all of the history is still in the old system, and we're looking at probably 2 years now and really getting to a point where we're looking at retiring the old system. But it was much cleaner to start over in the new system as opposed to bringing over the old data.
The thing is, we started over. A lot of the areas like categories, I would have liked to have started that over. A lot of them wanted to keep their old ways because of the way it was easy for them to continue working in a new environment with similar, choices. So we had to bring some of the similar values and say that they use it into Remedyforce. So that was now we're at a phase that we're trying to take away the extras that they don't need anymore because we can see a trend of not using. So kind of good that way.
Thanks. Another question in the front.
Sure. Remedy had a reputation for being a large installation product, 1,000 users or more. How have you architected this new solution to fit smaller environments?
Sure. Yeah, you can grab that. So that's actually one of
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question is with the history of Remedy and the legacy of Remedy architected for very large customers, how have you taken this new product in Remedyforce and architected it in a way that it can scale as well as support smaller customers? And I'm not going to completely steal, but a lot of times I'll steal the pitch that Mark Benioff used to say about Salesforce and democratizing software for large and small customers. Because of the way the Force.com platform scales, we have an application that runs for 5 users the same way it runs for 1,000. Of course, there's some things we have to do in the application to make it easier to search for users when you have 1,000 versus 5 and things like that. But for the most part, the platform gives us that scale capability without us having to do a lot different. I'll also say one of the best things about my job is looking back, when I started, looking back at the 25 years of experience we had in ITSM with Remedy and even some other tools, and asking the other product managers, what would you do different if you had to do over again? And we learned a lot from that, and we started over and simplified things. If you look at how we set up service requests in our application, service level agreements, things like that, a lot of it's based on feedback from hundreds and hundreds of customers that were using the Remedy products, and we architected it in a way that would make it easy to set up, and then the platform helps us with the scale and then the upgrade capabilities. It's just designed to support that better.
So both Dex and Mitchell have larger implementations, but we also have many customers that are mid-size. And what we find is that as organizations increasingly rely on technology to run their business, it's not so much about how many seats that you're buying, but really what you're doing. We have some very small deployments of 10, 15 seats that are serious power users because of the nature of their digital business, and then other organizations that require a very large seat count to support. So that's a really good question, actually. I'm missing a slide. This afternoon at 4:30, Pauline is going to, I'm sorry, not Pauline, sorry. Yeah, Pauline's tomorrow. You got a few more hours. Lisa is going to be speaking in a session on Remedyforce and Service Cloud. So if you're interested in integrating your customer service and your IT service management, Lisa's going to be participating in that session. That is in the Westin St. Francis. And tomorrow, because we like the noon slot, Pauline is going to be up talking about her transformation journey at Mitchell with the Salesforce platform and the role that Remedyforce and some of those other technologies have played, including they're a great use case for Chatter if you're interested in Chatter. They've done some really great connecting both people and information with Chatter. So make sure to participate in this promotion. We've got a minute left. What other questions do we have in the audience? Yeah.
Pauline, hi, Mark. It's my name. I was just curious with your journey with Remedyforce, how important was it to you to have professional services helping you along the way?
The question was how important was it to have professional services during our journey? We definitely, because it was a new product that I don't like to put new products in when I don't know what I'm doing. So we definitely brought in a professional services organization to help us. Really a couple of things. One of my main things is I want to use as much out of the box as possible. 2, when I do need to customize, you need to make sure I'm not taking myself down a rabbit hole, and if I'm trying to do something stupid, you need to tell me. 3, how do I leverage the best capabilities of that tool? So I really wanted somebody who had been through this multiple times. We ended up, the partner that we work with was Stonebridge, who's now changed their name. We had one guy, and then our team internally was only 2 additional people, a developer and a BSA. And the 3 of them working with our help desk manager, our NOC manager, really helped us get that initial deployment out. But it was great. And I really looked to the professional services guys who've done these implementations over and over for best practices, right? And making sure that my implementation is going to go smoothly because they already know all the holes that people potentially can fall into. So.
Yeah, so a plug for our partners. We have some phenomenal technology deliver partners across both North America and then globally. We've got some really stellar partners. We're really fortunate. So if you are considering Remedyforce, we definitely encourage you to have somebody help you along that journey because, hey, we're helping you change, we're helping you modernize, and that's a big deal. But the benefits of the investment that you make up front are really tremendous. So, folks, let's give our panel a warm round of applause. They've been wonderful today. Thank you guys so much, and we hope to see you down at the BMC booth 1217 in Moscone North because we've got goodies to give you. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.